Hi there, this is Awilda Torres from Align with Awilda, and I'm here sitting with my friend Denise Zaldivar in her beautiful home, surrounded by all of her beautiful animal friends. This is great. How are you doing today, by the way?
I am good. Thank you, Awilda, and thank you for being here with me today. You were gonna ask how many pets we have. All right. Well, let's see. We have 4 dogs, 4 cats, and right now we have 3 hamsters, and that's it. Right now.
Yeah. So this would probably be me if I had like a bigger space, because we just have that. Both of us have that love for animals. So I really appreciate you sitting down with me. It really means a lot to me whenever someone sits with me. And
you're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So basically, we've done business together in the past. Denise and I have, and so a lot of our conversations that have not been business related, we've talked about spirit. It always comes back to spirituality, or consciousness, or children, and mostly animals.
Yes.
And how much we love animals.
Yes.
And I think there's always like a point when you go back in your life where you really when did you first notice that you had that such a love and kindness towards animals?
Very early on. I remember when my sister was born. I had just turned 3. I was about to turn 3. I remember asking my mom to eat outside with the dogs because it would make me feel better. It will make me feel happier. So very early on, I started feeling a connection where I can understand them, they can understand me. And I was fortunate enough to be raised in a home always with animals, with dogs, and we had birds that my mom rescued from everywhere. And we eventually had some fish also, bunnies and guinea pigs, and I remember chicken. So usually animals that came to us for some rescuing reason. So I was fortunate enough to see my mom in action from a very, very early age, how she treated them. And that really ignited that energy in me. Now I really believe that some of it is definitely in my DNA. So it's not something that I learned. I really believe that it is in me, that the connection, and that I was brought here with that, so to say, characteristic of connecting very well with animals.
Wow.
Yes.
And then, of course, your mom rescuing animals obviously helped quite a bit. And is your sister also like this?
My sister is a little different. She loves and respects them, but she doesn't have the strong connection that I have or that my mom has. And my dad as well. My dad is very loving towards animals. So as the small family that I grew up in, my mom, my dad, my sister, and I, my grandmother adding to that, we're all animal lovers. But my mom and I have that stronger connection to animals. Yes.
So because one of the things I've noticed about you, one of the main characteristics is your kindness, and really how you really do, when you meet people for the first time or every time you encounter them, it's like a kindness that comes through. What does kindness mean to you?
To me, kindness is a combination of behaviors. Kindness is not just one thing. Kindness is a combination of actions and attitude towards a person, towards a situation. When you act kindly, it's impossible to act kindly by being fake. It doesn't work. Kindness has different components in it. You will see compassion, you will see friendliness, you will see sensitivity, you will see a good energy, you will see a willingness to help, you will see also pure love. All this goes into kindness. You will see empathy depending on the situation and the person. So yes, and again, from early on, Kindness has always been part of my life. And I remember always being very aware of situations or people that needed help or that needed attention, or that were uncomfortable, and how I could help them. So in that sense, yes, kindness to me is not just doing you a favor. It's not just helping. It depends. First, it depends on the person. It depends on the situation, and it is a combination of different factors that create this kind behavior, this kind attitude.
Yes.
Yes, and never fake. Always very genuine, and always coming from a place of love. Always.
Absolutely. And I guess in simple terms, if you could just say one thing, I guess it would be like doing unto others as you would like it's done to you.
Yes.
In part.
In part, and I like this idea, and I like this little conversation starter that you made now, because I also believe that we need to be really aware of how others would like to be treated. Maybe the way I want to be treated is not the same way as you want to be treated. So it's my duty to really know what Awilda prefers. Maybe I prefer to have hot tea, and I will serve you a hot tea, but maybe you prefer cold tea. And it's my duty to really communicate well enough with you to understand you. And this is where a good kindness to animals really holds the need for good communication. Yes.
So kindness can also be then not imposing our likes, dislikes, beliefs on other people.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. It's our duty to communicate well enough to understand what the other person prefers and likes, and not to judge them. And if we want to be kind towards them, or in this case to animals, we are supposed to honor that.
Yes, that's wonderful. We've talked a lot about there's like a shift in consciousness has been taking place on the planet.
Yes.
On every level, and of course, it's a planet of it's a universe of duality. So you have some people taking a shift in. There's a shift in consciousness towards the better, and then there's people that are there's a little bit of clash there. But I believe more and more that a shift in consciousness is taking place, and that can be seen in how people are really looking for ways to be well. More and more people are looking for healthier options. More and more people are really starting to look at what do animals really need in our life. What is an animal to me? What is the way that I should treat my animals? Should I eat animals? So people are asking themselves all sorts of questions. So how do you think we can move forward with this shift in consciousness?
I love this topic because we are really living it.
Yes.
And the more we understand it, the more we can really help make an impact. So to me, it starts really with the big picture. I think that all creation is pretty much a manifest of divine energy, right? Yes. So it doesn't matter how big, how small, how smart, or how not so smart it is a creation, and that puts us in a situation where we are one, and that this oneness really allows us to it makes us march towards one destiny. If we look at it from an evolution point of view, we are going to, as humanity, as living beings, animals, plants, humans, we are marching together. We time goes by, but we're all going together, and we need to understand that. And the thing is that right now we're going through a lot of transition, and there is a sort of a quantum leap in our evolution as living beings, where as you said, the duality, as we march towards this transition, we were feeling a lot of confusion, frustration. So the negative comes in, but we're also transitioning towards an earth where there's more justice, more equality, more compassion, and ideally, we will take away the confusion and the frustration. That's our job.
Yes.
To create an earth where there is more peace and more love, where people can really just radiate love from their heart at all times, ideally. So, yes, we are marching towards this shift in consciousness. The key here is really to realize that we are one. So if we are doing wrong to the animal kingdom, so to say, we are doing wrong to ourselves. We're definitely not contributing in a positive way towards our evolution as living beings. This oneness, and this disrupts the idea of creating an earth where there is more justice, more equality, more compassion, more love overall.
That's wonderful. How does this, because we are in the midst of that shift in consciousness, where you and I and many beings on the planet are really asking themselves the questions, asking themselves the serious questions. How do I need to be engaging with animals?
Yes.
What do I need to be eating? You know, there's different sides, there's different opinions on every side. Then you have to ask yourself, how is this going to look like in my life?
Yes.
My life with animals. So how does this shift in consciousness look like for you when it comes to animals?
It's been such an amazing process throughout my life. Because what happened was, when I was born, I was born in a home where meat was heavily eaten, and I didn't really question it at all. At the same time, we loved animals. But this conflict didn't really show up in my conscious mind until I was a teenager. That's when I started really analyzing and wondering, hold on, what's going on here? What are we doing? So I had my phases of becoming a vegetarian. At that time, I was probably not strong enough. I couldn't keep it up. So it was a back and forth. In my 20s, that's when I really became more aware. And I really am very grateful and thankful for that. I really became more aware of my relationship with animals, that if it's really so pure and loving, that I can't do any harm to them. This is when I realized that no, I cannot eat any meat anymore. That was my journey. So no more. I don't need to use them. I don't need to use any leather. I don't need to use any fur. I don't need to use their meat. I don't need to use anything that comes from an animal. Now, with this said, I am not a vegan yet. I know that I am on my way to becoming a vegan. It's a journey, and I'm not there yet. I'm working towards it. I think that it for different people, it will come in different ways. People will see it very early in their lives. I have a good friend who became a vegetarian at age 5.
Wow.
Yes.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. And that was entirely her choice.
Yes.
I also have a good friend who, once she realized what an egg was, and she was probably 5 or 6, she said, no way, I will never eat eggs again. So I hear these stories, and we are going to hear them more and more.
Yes.
Especially now with this new wave of children coming to our earth. Well, it has been happening already, but just now more and more. And I think that we need to wake up. We need to wake up. It's not going to happen to everybody. It would be a big illusion to believe that it will happen to everybody. But the person who loves an animal. The person.
Here we go.
Hi.
Here's our little friend. So cute.
Yeah, that's Pixie. She just came to us, appeared on our driveway, infested with fleas, and
Wow.
I took her in right away. Yeah, she's been a very, very interesting, very loving cat. So I think we need to wake up as a humanity. I really believe there is no reason at all for us to harm animals the way we do nowadays. I believe it creates very bad energy overall. I cannot judge. I cannot judge anyone for their willingness to eat meat. I understand that every person is different, and I will not argue with my parents who still want to eat meat. I will not argue with them about that. This is their choice. But I can create awareness. I can really help people understand why it's not. We don't really need it. We don't really need it.
So you know that mom, she knows my mom. Mom has been a vegetarian for, oh my goodness, going on 20 years. She, like you, she practices nonviolence on animals. And so I was exposed to that by the age of 14. I was exposed to that. And I have also been an on and off vegetarian at different points in my life. And so at this point, I am an animal eater because it is the best thing for my health at this point. And I remember when I went to a naturopath, and I was like you, I was ready to go vegan. I had been a vegetarian for a while, and I was ready to go vegan. And she was telling me I was having some health issues, and she was telling me, you really should really think about eating animal protein. And then she said in a raw kind of a raw meat. And that to me, I said, what? No, never. I can't. It's not something that I can do. And actually, a year later, I started including animal protein in my diet. But I try to do it in a very conscious way. You have to know where it is coming from. You know, if you want to eat it, you should know where it's coming from, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I agree.
You should be responsible to know, you know, what that animal went through, what conditions it was living in. Because when we eat flesh from an animal that lived a very unhappy life and lived in inhumane conditions, we are taking in that energy.
Absolutely. Yes.
So just as we take in the energy of a root vegetable like a carrot, we get a completely different energy from a root vegetable. It creates an energy of groundedness within us. And when we eat a vegetable that is growing towards the sun, like kale, we get an uplifting and airy feel, and it helps different parts of our body. And with eating animals, it is the same. You get the same thing.
And not to mention the added antibiotics. You mentioned the stress level that the animal had to endure. All this is really toxins that are released into the meat that humans will consume. Yes, absolutely. So we have, if you choose to eat meat, I agree with you. You have to know where it's coming from.
You have to know where it's coming from. And another thing is, and I live wanting to be a vegetarian because I love animals myself, and I wish that in our world everyone could be a vegetarian. But I understand that, and sometimes you have to go ahead and eat animal protein, but there is a responsible way of doing it where you're completely grateful for the life of that animal, for giving its life, in order to give you sustenance as well. So blessing that animal and really not eating. In this country, we eat an obscene amount of meat. I'm sorry, we eat so much meat. Why do we need to eat so much meat? And I think people they're very unconscious the way they go about it. It's almost in everything. and they just ingest very, very large quantities
Yes.
of it. And so if we, it's perhaps, ask yourself, do I need to eat meat every day? Maybe you don't even have to eat meat every day. Maybe you only have to eat meat twice a week.
Yes.
And even then it can be a very small portion.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be eating meat twice a day and then eating huge portions.
Yes.
Of
And
it.
understand how meat is digested by our body.
Yes.
So that will help you make a better decision on how often to eat it. It stays in our system for a little longer.
Yes,
so,
it does.
Yes.
Yes,
So just understand really how meat works in your body, and do your research. Do your research. Study it. And if you are in between, if you would like to go vegetarian or vegan,
Yes.
And don't know, yes, I think it is good to know if you are healthy,
Yes.
if you have deficiencies that can be addressed very quickly by meat.
Yes.
I'm really aware
Yes.
of the benefits that animal protein can have.
Yes.
I'm worried about the other more negative aspects of it.
The extremism.
Yes, and in my choice, I really chose it out of love for the animals. So that's why I chose to be a vegetarian.
Yes.
But I know the taste. I know
Yes.
I know everything. I grew up eating meat, all kinds of meat. So I know, and I know how full it can make you feel. I know the energy it can give you. I know the muscle mass that it can give you. So I'm very well aware of that.
Yes.
So just do your research, and eventually you ask for guidance. Ask for guidance.
Yes.
If you are on the fence, ask for guidance, and you will know what is good for you, what is the best choice for you.
Because there's a wrong way to be a meat eater, and there's also a wrong way how to be a vegetarian. A lot of people think, yes, being a vegetarian means you don't ingest animal products, but it doesn't mean you're going to be healthy, because a lot of people, they eat a lot of processed foods that does not have any animal products, any animal ingredients in it, but it has all sorts of processed ingredients. So really, being a vegetarian is about going back to eating whole foods. That does not come from an animal.
Absolutely. Really looking for you. We know that you can't go without protein. It's impossible.
Right.
We need protein to live and grow and think.
Yes.
So it's really about finding new ways of compensating for the protein that you're not receiving from the animals, which is so much faster and so much more.
I completely agree with you. Like at home we have, my husband does not mind, not eating meat. And we can go long periods of time without eating meat. And so I always promote eating vegetarian meals.
Yes.
And even in my Ignite and Align women's gatherings, I cook for the ladies, and I could cook meat, but I choose not to, because I like to promote vegetarianism.
Yes.
And this is what you can do here with mushrooms, and you can cook them in this way in order to get that kind of meaty, more protein kind of a feel. And this is how you can cook lentils, and this is how you can add hemp seeds and different seeds and nuts and different things to your diet to add to the protein. To the protein intake.
I applaud you for that. That's wonderful.
Yes.
It's creating awareness, really.
Yes. Because I really wish I was a vegetarian. It's been, when I knew that I couldn't be, because I had to kind of readjust. It took some time. It was painful for me.
I can imagine.
It was painful for me. And even my mom, it's been a year now, she really felt depleted, and she said, I'm really, for some reason, after 19 years, I'm craving eggs, and this is very strange. And I really feel, and she had also been to a natural practitioner, and she said, I think I'm going to try it. But she struggled with it for months. For months, she did not eat it. She was just thinking about it. Am I going to do this?
It's very emotional.
It is.
It can really hit you deeply. and but that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing, because you're really connecting with
Yes.
with you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you want that. You want to feel vulnerable. You want to feel you want to sort of elevate your vibrations so you can really accept more guidance, and it will help you make a decision.
Yes.
Yes.
And she eats it about once or twice a week. She doesn't overdo it either.
Yeah.
So that's the way we try. That's the way
Yeah.
we try to do it. But the rest of our family, are meat eaters, and some
Same
of them
here.
more conscious. Some of them more conscious than others.
Yes.
But you just let people do their
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's okay. Tell us a little bit about your gift for helping animals, because you have more than 8 children. You have 2 children, 2 human,
yes.
2 human children,
Little ones, yes.
and then you have 8 pets, and then you have hamsters, and so tell us about
it
that.
comes very natural to me.
Mhm.
It's really a pleasure. It feels like I am serving.
Mm.
So it doesn't feel like work. It never does. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like it's part of me.
Yes.
So it's an automatic bridge from me to them.
Yeah.
There is no thoughts of, oh, I can't believe I have to wake up so early to feed the pets. No, it's really it comes from the heart. And if I could say it, the more the better. So if I could have more, eventually that's my dream, is to really have an animal sanctuary. And just come to me. Let's live together. Let's heal together. Let's allow you. There's so many abused animals. Come, let's allow you to be safe and feel love here. And to me, that's an ideal scenario of what I picture in the future. So it comes very natural to me from very early on. I remember being very little and wanting to be a veterinarian. And when I was a teenager, I realized that was not supposed to be what I was going to do. So I would not help animals medically, so to say, physically, really. It was deeper. And I started really paying attention to that, how animals were responding to me. Our relationship is usually very calm, very I communicate with them very easily. Sometimes it's very silent. I don't need to say commands, or I don't need to
so it's more telepathic.
It's more telepathic. Yeah. It's really knowing what they need, and just confirming it by doing it, and seeing how comfortable they get, or how happier they are at that moment. So it's really, I see it as a gift. I see it as something that I was born with, and that I need to take with me and work with it. I have that a little bit with children as well. And I always was very attracted, or actually more the opposite. Little children were always attracted to me, mostly when I was younger. And I need to wake that up again in me. It sort of gets lost when we become adults and life gets busy. But that little magic, that little energy that I have that kept attracting children to me, I need to find that again. So it's very beautiful. It's very pure. The communication with animals is not difficult for me. It's very deep and very, very loving.
Wow.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Yes, we do lose a lot of our consciousness that we have when we're children. We lose a lot of that when we're older. Even listening to our bodies becomes like this. Sometimes we don't know why we're eating something. We don't longer ask ourselves certain questions.
Yeah.
We lose certain gifts and abilities that or it seems like we lose them. We can always get them back, but we kind of lose certain ways of being that we had when we were kids, and we can all waken up to that.
Yes, we can. And one way is really, to me, to do what I call have a quiet moment and listen to yourself and ask for guidance. Meditate. you know, for me, you have to do something that you love at least once a day. This is something that you know, whether it is having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee and reading a
Yes.
book,
Mm-hmm.
taking that quiet time for you where you can really connect with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so many messages. I have something that I tell people all the time: listen to the signs, pay attention to the signs.
Yes.
And we don't do that, right? We forget to, you know, and then, you know, a week later you hear someone say, well, yeah, I, you know, thought about it, but then I didn't do it.
Yes.
I should have done it.
Yes.
Pay attention to the signs. You
Yes.
know, this is we should really be grateful that this is coming to us, that message is coming to us.
Yes. So could you talk to us? Sorry to interrupt. Could you talk to us about your friends?
My friends?
Yeah, your family, your pets. Talk to us a little bit, like their names.
All right. So this one right here, he's an English bulldog. His name is Wolverine. Wolvie. We call him Wolvie. So Wolvie came to us this year in January, right? Yes. And Wolvie is 5 years old, almost 6. You're gonna be 6 on December the 5th. Mm-hmm. With Gabby. Mm-hmm. And Wolvie came to us. He had a very loving owner, but his owner had to travel a lot, change jobs, mm-hmm. and didn't have a lot of time for Wolvie. So we took Wolvie in. Mm-hmm. We have Pixie, white Persian, that appeared on our driveway. Mm-hmm. And Pixie. And Pixie is, it took a long time, months and months of showing her that she can trust us. Yes. It took a long time. She was very scared. I don't know what she went through out there. Yes. So it took a long time for her to really trust human beings again. We have Layla the boxer, sleeping on the couch. Layla came to us. Yes. She was an owner surrender. They didn't want her anymore. And we knew her from a wonderful place where our dogs go once a week. 3 acres. They play. It's like school for dogs. Wow. They just play. That's amazing. And we knew Layla from there, and Layla came to us. Mm-hmm. We have 2 cats that are right now outside, I guess, enjoying the chilly weather. Mm-hmm. The hamsters, we adopted the hamsters, and Mama Hamster came with baby hamster that was supposed to be a girl, but it was a boy. So Mama Hamster and baby son had baby hamsters. So we ended up with many hamsters. It was a big surprise. All of them survived, and we gave some away to loving families. And we still have a few here. Wow. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's always a full house. Oh, full house. Always something going on, but we make sure that everybody is respected, everybody is happy, everybody is well fed, and that there's a lot of love. Yes. So Christmas must be very fun here. Yes, Christmas is fun here. Christmas is we don't have a very large family, so my family is all in Brazil. So I celebrate Christmas with my husband's family. They're Cuban descent, so we have different types of food, and it's very nice. The kids love it, of course, so we do a lot of things kid related, and the cats and dogs get their Christmas gifts too. This is part of our little Christmas routine. Yes. You know, make sure to get new toys or something they will have fun with. Yeah. And nice bone. Yes, a nice bone. Everybody's together. Nobody stays outside. Everybody inside. We make sure that if we have pets, they're part of the family, so they don't stay outside. They always stay inside. It doesn't get too cold in Florida, so they could stay outside, but that's not the point. The point is for us to share this great energy together, for them to be happy. They love just laying on the couch and being with us, and they're social beings. Yes. Like we are social beings. They are social beings. Yes. So they want to be close to us, and we just, Christmas is full house, pets and people and little ones, big ones. Yes. That's wonderful. Yes. What do you think, because I know that Christmas is coming up, and it's almost here. Yes. Thanksgiving is pretty soon. And I know that there's children asking Santa for pets, a dog or a cat. And a lot of parents, they want to please their kids, and
and maybe they're thinking about getting a dog or a cat. What is the best advice? What can we really tell the parents to think about?
A pet is not a toy. A pet is not a piece of decoration or something you can't forget.
Yes.
If you want to bring a pet into your home, it's a very, very important decision. It will cost you money, not just to acquire the pet. Even if you adopt it, there is an adoption fee. It will cost you money on a very long run, for years and years. It will cost you time. And please don't think that your child will take care of the pet, right?
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. You or mom or dad, you will take care of the pet.
Yes.
So you have to take that into consideration. It's a pet. Acquiring a pet should never be an emotional decision because it's cute or because you can't let the puppy go and you're holding it and you just want to take it home. Acquiring a pet is a very, very important decision. You need to ask yourself, if I'm bringing this pet into my life, how can I make sure that the pet is entirely happy, healthy, content? What will I do for the pet? If I want the pet to bring us joy and happy moments and cuddles on the couch and grow up with the kids, what am I going to do? What's going to be my role in making that happen? Don't expect the child to do it. It's not the child's job. The child's supposed to learn from you. And don't expect the pet to behave as you want. If you're allowing the pet to come into your life, there is a mutual learning experience here. The pet is learning what it's like to live with you. You got to learn what it's like to live with a pet. So there has to be a lot of patience. There has to be a lot of respect. There has to be a constant. You can't change your behavior. You can't be upset and happy and loving. No, you have to make sure that you are constantly stable towards the pet. Yes, absolutely. So if you have been thinking about it for a while and it just happens that Christmas would be a good time for it because it's approaching, I would say yes. If you don't know what to get your kids and they just really want a pet, I would say absolutely not. You have to think about it with a lot of, if you work the whole day.
It's not a toy.
It's not a toy. If you work the whole day, where are you going to leave the pet? Please don't leave your dog caged for 8-9 hours because you're working. Same thing with cats. If you, and definitely don't leave it outside. If you don't love animals, that's a big issue because sometimes the kids want it, but the parents don't care for animals. Don't do it. Don't get it. Absolutely not.
Sad
yes,
situation.
Because it's part of the family, and your child will learn from you how you behave towards the animal, and that's a big no-no. And if you are ready for a pet, I would suggest adopt. Never shop. Yes, no shopping, no going into a store that has all the puppies and cages and you fall in love with these puppies and you pay $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 for a dog. No, there are better ways. There are many wonderful rescue organizations. There are shelters, your local shelter. There are pet stores that sell dog food, cat food, bird food that actually host local rescues on the weekends. You can go to them. Make sure your pet is spayed or neutered. You don't.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what, where the animals, the $1,000, $2,000 animals that we get at all these other stores, where do they really come from?
Okay, so I'm not a breeder, but a good, reputable breeder loves their dogs, okay? Their dogs, they work with their dogs. They want to protect the breed. They have big love and admiration for that breed. Okay. They are very picky. That's a good breeder. They're very picky about where the puppy is going to,
Right.
what home. They want to know what
Sometimes
home.
they'll interview you.
Oh, yes. They want to
Yes.
make sure who you are,
Yes.
and you have to sign papers that you will not breed. You will not have your dog have babies, have puppies with another dog.
Okay.
So it's very strict, and reputable breeders take this very seriously. In my opinion, no reputable breeder will send their puppies to be sold at a pet store. They will not do this. So what happens is that most puppies that are, or even kittens that are sold in pet stores, come from puppy farms or puppy mills. It's very sad, but you can look it up.
Yes.
Puppy mills are spread nationally. It's very sad.
It's very sad.
Very sad. It's basically a puppy farm. So the role of the dog, the mom dog and the dad dog, is to just keep on making puppies. So a mom dog that does that does not live. Imagine you as a woman giving birth every year. So you give birth to a child. And then as soon as you get pregnant again, you get pregnant again. And that's your whole life you live like this. This is what happens to the mom dog. And
they don't even get out of the cages.
No.
They stay in a little cage like this.
Usually wire cages.
And
very filthy conditions with the minimal food and water that they can have. Of course, why? Because the goal here is profit. It's a business, right? No.
All about the money. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. One of the dogs. No animal should be used as a business, as a mean of business. Yes, puppy mills do this. They make puppies, and it's the more the better. So the conditions that the puppies and the moms and the dogs, the dads live in is very poor. Cut the expenses, but let's get the puppies going so we can make big profit. So I would really highly encourage you not to get a puppy from a puppy store. Go look at your local shelter.
Yes.
Look if you love a breed. Let's say you love a dog breed. Let's say you love boxers, right? And you say, well, but I really want to get a boxer. How am I going to find a boxer in a shelter? It can happen. It can happen. But look for your local boxer rescue. Just Google, let's say you live in Atlanta. Google Atlanta boxer rescue. Just most breeds, they have their own rescue groups.
Yes.
And it's wonderful.
Wow.
Yes, wonderful. So people don't really know that. But there are rescue groups that are breed specific, and you will be able to get that dog or even that cat if you like a specific breed for their characteristics and their looks, So
that's great. And what kind of organizations, if let's say you're someone who you love animals and you want to begin helping animals or be an advocate for animals, dogs or cats, what organizations do you recommend?
Okay, well, if we talk a bit more generalized and very, very big picture here, you have these big organizations like the Humane Society of the United States, right? For example, if you don't have time but you feel that you want to help, you can make donations to them.
Right.
At a more local level, you can look at animal sanctuaries in your state or in your city that are always looking for volunteers. So these are animal sanctuaries. These are not shelters. There is a difference. Sanctuaries are usually places where animals are they are allowed to live the rest of their lives. Yes. But there are some adoptions also that go on there. So you can look, just again, Google, do an internet search for animal sanctuaries that are in your area. Now, if you want to be really hands-on, the local shelters, SPCA, or your local animal control. For example, here in Orlando, we have the Orange County Animal Control.
Yes.
They are always looking for volunteers, and volunteers go through an orientation. Volunteers will do everything from cleaning the spaces that they are in, the cages, to walking them, to playing with them. So volunteers have many different roles, and it's up to you how far you want to take. So this is more hands-on, and you can always donate. You can always donate food. You can always donate money to them. But if you and then you have these smaller rescue groups, and the way you can look up rescue groups and volunteer with them is go online and the city that you live in, for example, Orlando, and let's say I'm looking for, I want to work with Labrador retrievers. You know, I love this breed, so I'm going to look online, Orlando Labrador Retriever rescue groups, and I'm going to see what comes up. I contact them. Most of these rescue groups, what they need is foster parents. So you can foster animals at your home, and if you get attached to them, you will adopt them. And but the idea is for you to be able to give them a home until the rescue group finds a forever home for the pet. And they also need a lot of volunteers with making phone calls, interviewing potential families that are going to adopt a pet, or letting them know if they were accepted or not. So a lot of this, the more bureaucratic things, that is the behind the scenes, but very important. So yes, there are many different ways, and always look for foundations, animal-related foundations. You can always donate to them. They always need for money. Or if you want to join one, for example, I'm part of the Doglando Foundation. Doglando Foundation is dog-specific, but we also help cats, actually. We have different programs, and the Doglando Foundation is beautiful because it has a very strong educational component towards humans. So it's not, we don't do rescue, we don't do fostering very seldomly, but it's more the education, creating awareness, showing people, teaching them, so the animal, in this case the dog-human relationship, can really be improved. Yes,
that is wonderful.
Yes,
that's great. You really know a lot about the subject. I just learned a lot.
I'm glad I could help.
Great. So the last question I want to ask you is, which is a question I ask everyone, is what are you doing at this time in your life to align more with your inner self? I know you talked a little bit about meditation, or what is it that you do to align with your inner self?
All right, that's a great question. Many different things, actually. Let's talk about food. And I say that because I think food gives us energy in different ways. So one thing that I'm doing, actually, that I started recently, is changing what I eat. And I'm trying, and it's hard, I'm not gonna lie. I love sweets.
It's a habit, because it's a habit. Yes. So you're creating new habits.
So I'm really putting a big focus on what I'm eating. I'm trying to eat things that I know will do very well for my body. Okay, this is one thing, because I think that if I'm well, if I'm feeling well, I'm able to think better. I'm able to relax better. I'm able to open up more.
Consciousness.
Yes. So if we are sick, not a lot of things can happen. So for me, it really starts with how I'm keeping my body, because we are in a body. So I need to make sure that the body is doing well. So if my body is doing well, then I'm able to meditate. I'm able to ask for more guidance. I believe a lot in angels. I very recently I started working with my angels, and I talk to them constantly now. It's been very healing to me, and I do this throughout the day, but really consciously before bed, and give thanks to the divine. I always make sure that I'm very grateful for my day, for my experiences. So meditating and praying at night, and in the morning I do that throughout the day. I really watch what I eat. And this has been interesting. It has been recent. So I'm still learning a lot. And I forgive myself for little slips here and there.
Yes.
That's okay. It's part of the process. And what I do also, Wilda, is I really pay attention to what I surround myself with. Music, for example. I don't listen to any radio. I listen to mantras, or I listen to what I call spa music. Spa music is very, very soothing. And I also pay attention to what I read. So I want to make sure that I'm reading something that is really, I want to make sure that I'm listening to something that is allowing me to connect more with my higher self, with the archangels, with other divine energy. So I do this very consciously. And sensory-wise, I use scents. I like to use aromatherapy, incense. I believe in that very much. Oils are fantastic. So it's I love this combination. I love how we can use so many different aspects, so many different how would you say that?
So aligning with your inner self is a lifestyle.
It is,
I would say.
And Reiki.
It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
And one thing, when you start making one change, no matter how small it is, it starts trickling into other life areas. And then you get there, in my point, where we have all of these things that we do. And everything really just raises your level of vibration. And lets you be connected to the divine, to what I call God. In everything that you do.
Absolutely.
And that is the goal, isn't it?
That's the goal. And the goal is for us to be so connected that we receive these messages. So what I spoke about earlier, the signs, pay attention to the signs. So we're so connected that we receive these messages and they actually make sense. Because if we're not connected, if you're not open enough, you will receive the messages, but your conscious mind is not going to be able to really process it. So when we are aligned, we are able to process this information better.
So I think, if we ask ourselves the question, I like thinking in terms of vibration. How is this going to add to my vibration or not? And I think another question is am I going to feel closer to God by doing this? Am I going to have a deeper connection? If that is the most important thing to me, which in my life it is, and if it's not in someone else's life, that's fine. But for me, I want to experience God in everything that I do. I don't think you get to a point where you're done. It's the journey that we are on.
Absolutely.
Remembering who we are as spiritual beings and who we are in God. So for me, it's okay. Eating this, is it really going to?
I absolutely agree with you. And you brought up such a great point, because if we want to be so close to God, to the universe, to the divine, whatever it is that we call God, but we only go to church and that's it. It's not going to work.
No,
it's not going to work. We are creating a recipe for disaster there. With a lot of frustration and a lot of things that we will not be able to understand in life. You said it all. It's a lifestyle.
Yes, it is.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, because for instance, I go to church on Sundays, and that's something that I love in my life. But I understand that I cannot be one different person at church and then a different person in my daily life. It has to be a complete lifestyle, because God is not a church. God is not. God is everywhere, inside of me, inside of you. And when I'm in that realization, which we're not always in that realization. We're not always, and that's okay. That's the journey that we're on. We're in a human body. We have this personality, ego, that gets in the way a lot of the time. But the real point is to keep going back to that, to keep going back to, this is who I am in God, and this is what I can do now to get connected to that source.
Yes.
To
Absolutely.
my source.
Yes. Yes, I agree with you.
So this is a great conversation.
It was a great conversation. We could probably keep on
Yes.
for at least another hour or two.
We probably will after the video is done. So I really appreciate you and just talking to me. It's really meaningful to me. So
To me
you.
too. Thank you so much. This was a very nice conversation.
Yes.
And it's so nice to be able to share. Right? This is what it's really
it's
all about.
Yes.
Yes.
These I live for these moments.
Yes.
It's really great. So thank you. I thank you guys for watching. And I hope you take everything that we talked about. I hope that really helps you in your life, and I hope that you take it to heart, and really start thinking about the animals in every area of your life, everything that you're doing now. Use it as a tool to get you into a more connection with your source of being, which is God. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.